It's 2022 and you're a video content creator, so that means you're probably exporting your videos for multiple different aspect ratios. The client wants it on LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, it doesn't matter. And to do that, you've got to resize and reframe every asset on the timeline to fit a different aspect ratio. Or do you? Can you do it automatically? Well, that's what I'm here to show you. I'm Tom Graham from Envato Tuts Plus, and I've been editing videos for the last 15 years or so. And to tell you the truth, since this tool came out, it has shaved so much time off my workflow. And time is money, so let me show you how to use it right now. Okay, so to demonstrate the auto reframe functionality in Premiere Pro, I've gone ahead and created a pretty typical little timeline here. I've made a promo video for a fictional mobile phone brand called Edge Mobile. How about we play it through first to see what we're working with? Now, I grabbed all of these assets from Envato Elements. Every single asset you're seeing right now is from Envato Elements. It's a really easy to use subscription service. You can download literally millions of assets to use in your projects right away. Super simple commercial licensing. You can cancel the subscription at any time. So really, there's nothing stopping you from going to check it out today. There's a link in the description below. Now, of course, this is in 16:9 as a standard, our standard kind of YouTube widescreen 16:9 aspect ratio. And what we want to do is we want to make that into one, an Instagram story, so 9:16, and two, an Instagram feed video. And we're going to do this in 1:1. You can also do that in 4:5 ratio in Instagram, but let's do it 1:1 and 9:16. So how do we do that? Well, there's a couple of ways. We could do it manually. So we could create a new sequence over here. For instance, we could do a 9:16 sequence and then copy all of our footage into that sequence there. And you'll see there, we then need to go through and change a few different things in our edit window to make sure everything fits, move things over. We'll have to change some adjustment layers here, but that's a lot of effort to go through for every single clip. So we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to look at the auto reframing functionality that is now in Premiere Pro. It is very easy to use and saves you a lot of time. So let's jump straight into it. Now, if I hover over here, you can see this is 16:9, 1920 by 1080 at 25 frames. I'm going to right click on this sequence here and go down to auto reframe sequence. It's going to bring up this little window. It automatically renames this for us. You can change it to something else if you want, but I actually think it does a pretty good job of delineating your sequence from your original to your 16:9, 9:16, 1:1. At the moment, we've got it in 1:1. Let's do the 9:16 first. So keep motion tracking as default. You can do slower motion or faster motion, and I'll show you what that means in just a second. For now, I'm going to keep it as default. You can also click Don't Nest Clips. So as you can see here, this will replace your current motion adjustments, or you can nest clips, which will keep any motion adjustments but remove the transitions. So if you've got a lot of motion adjustments on your timeline already, I would go ahead and click the Nest Clips one. But as I built this sequence specifically for this auto reframe functionality, I'm going to hit Don't Nest Clips and I'm going to let it do its thing. So I'm going to hit Create now. So you can see automatically we've now got a 9:16 vertical video version of our promo. I'm going to go into the Edit tab here so we can get a little bit more granular. So let's play it through and we'll see immediately that there's some things that we need to clean up. It's not done things perfect, but what it has done has reframed all of our footage to be centered in our vertical video. So playing through now, you can see obviously we'll need to do some work on the graphics here. And there's a couple of times where it tries to reframe with some motion. And again, if you don't like that, I'm going to show you how you can quickly change all of those little AI things that maybe didn't work perfectly, but then keep all the things that have worked perfectly. Like all of this footage here, I'm really happy with. So let's stop that. We'll go back to the start here and I'm gonna just zoom in and work on this. So we've got our graphics that sit over the top and I think they need to be changed so you can actually read them. Now over on the left-hand side in your effects controls panel, you can see that motion is grayed out. Where you would usually be able to change all of your motion effects, that is grayed out. But instead underneath, you've got auto reframe. Now you can do a few different things in here, but what we're going to do is change the size and the position of this graphics layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click overwrite generated path, and that's going to let me change some things that has been automatically done. You can see here, it's automatically tried to scroll it across, but we don't want that. So I'm going to delete all but one of these keyframes. and just keep one keyframe in there. And then in the offset and the reframe scale, I'm going to change the size down, and then I'm going to start playing with the offset. So I think something like this works pretty well. We'll go low here and we'll play it back. Now, as you can see in the original, if I go back to the original here, this arrow points to the guy, and I think that makes sense in this context. But if we go into our 9x16, the arrow is now not going to point to the guy anymore, unfortunately. So we can either just continue to make this smaller, and we can pull it over, and then also we can overwrite the path on the actual piece of footage underneath. I'm going to delete all but one of these keyframes and just shift the offset over like that. So that's one way to do it, which I think looks pretty good for now. Or alternatively, if you've got another graphic without the arrow, such as I do, you can bring that one in now. So I'll bring my unlimited data clean in, and I'm just going to drop this over the top here. Now I've got this sped up to 200%, so I'm just going to hit G on my keyboard, which is what I have my clip speed and duration mapped to. I'm going to make that 200%, and then I'll just pull this down to the same level. Whoops, pull this down to the same level. You can see here it's too big, so I'm just going to do what you would normally do there, scale and reframe. And I'm just going to hit E on my keyboard, which I have mapped to enable, so the one underneath. So now we can see we've got one without the arrow. But let's go back to what we had here, because now we've changed this offset. So let's just move the offset back into the middle here. Now I think that looks pretty good for our first piece of footage that we've corrected. So this piece here is good. It's tracked her eyes, so she's nice and central in the frame. This one has a little slight movement. It's just tried to keep his head in the center of the frame. I think because there's not actually that much movement in the shot, we should fix that because it's a little bit distracting. So once again, I'm going to hit overwrite generated path. I'm going to clear all but one of the keyframes here. And you can see there, we now have no movement. But he does go quite to the left of frame there. So I'm just going to shift the offset a little bit into the center. Perfect. Now this one, it's tried to do a lot of things. So we'll start with the text layer. We will click overwrite generated path, clear all but one of these. We'll make this slightly smaller so it fits, and we'll play with our offset and move that into position. Now on the actual piece of footage, you'll see here, it's tried to do a lot of things in terms of trying to track her into the middle of the frame, but I think we can get away. Yeah, we can get away with that. We've just deleted them all. I'm going to move the offset just a little bit here. It's done exactly the same thing for this. And look, I'll give the AI credit. It's trying to put people's faces in the middle of the frame. That's generally what you would want. But, it doesn't always work. So again, overwrite here. We'll delete all but one of our keyframes, and we'll just bring that offset over here. So we've manually put her in the center. Now it might feel like you're doing a lot of manual adjustment, but remember when we tried this before and we went to copy and paste our original sequence into the 9x16 sequence, every single asset would have to be resized to the 9x16 aspect ratio. Whereas here it's done all of that grunt work for us automatically. And all we're doing is just tweaking it to make it look good. So I'm going to go through now and quickly readjust everything on the timeline that needs to be readjusted. And I'll talk about how we do things slightly differently when we auto reframe for the 1:1 aspect ratio. Now, as you can see here, this piece of footage that I had, this graphic, was built for a 16:9 aspect ratio. The top and bottom is cut off. So, like I did earlier, I'm going to bring in my clean version of that. Going to speed this up by 400%, as I did with the original. Chop the end off here, and I'll just drag that over the top. Again, we'll just have to resize it like we would do normally. And there we go, Edge Mobile. So let's play through that and just see where we got to with the 9x16 version. And I've done this in about, 10 minutes. All right, let's do this now for a 1:1 aspect ratio. So we'll go back to our original here. All we need to do is find it in our bins over here. As you can see, when I made the auto reframe sequence earlier, it's made a folder here. So that's where your 9:16 one lives. Right clicking on this, I will go auto reframe sequence. We're going to bring this into a 1:1 as we mentioned before. This time I'm going to do faster motion and see what happens. Again, we are changing some of these clips anyway, so let's just see what happens. You can see here, it's dropped the 1:1 into our auto reframe sequences bin, but we're going to go into edit and we're going to see where things got to. So that's what we mean when we go the faster motion. It has tried to do this a little bit faster to move her face into the middle of frame. Like we did with the 9:16, I'm going to change this manually anyway. So I would often just leave it at default unless you really know there's a lot of, say, action sports or something like that. Maybe you've got a cyclist cruising down a hill going around corners. That's the kind of thing that a fast motion would be able to pick up and move that cyclist into the middle of the frame. Where it's something like this, where it's just the camera panning, doesn't really work that well. So let's play through again and we'll see where we're at. So most things are looking pretty good. We're gonna have to make some tweaks to the size of our titles here, but not by much. And you can see all of the footage has been nicely framed within our 1:1 aspect ratio. So this one's a real pain. Again, because the arrow's there, we know we're not going to have it pointing out. Plus it tries to do this thing where it's repositioned it across the frame. So I don't like that. I'm just going to bring our graphics straight in and we're not even going to try and play around with the auto reframe. So let's bring in unlimited data clean, drop it there. Again, G on my keyboard, 200% for this one. C on my keyboard, and then bring that down. Now we'll just resize this a little bit, dropping it down where we want it. That looks pretty good to my eye. Again, we don't like this. Overwrite. Get rid of that. This, all we need to do is scale it down a little bit. And maybe we'll offset it down slightly lower. And we're going to have to change this again. Look, it is a little bit of manual tweaking, but it doesn't take too long. Literally 20 minutes into this recording, edited down for YouTube as well, but 20 minutes into this recording, we've gone from a 16:9 promo here that's 30 seconds long. We've got a 9:16 and we've got a 1:1. So it's as easy as that. Use the auto reframe functionality in Premiere Pro to very quickly and very easily reframe your content for social media. Now, I got all of these assets from Envato Elements, as I mentioned before, so you should go and check out Envato Elements today to download all of these assets, plus millions of more to use in your projects right away. The link is in the description below. And if you liked this tutorial, make sure to head over to the Envato Tuts Plus YouTube channel. It's what you're probably watching this video on right now. We post content daily. You can learn great stuff about Photoshop, Procreate, Illustrator, there's heaps more. Maybe go and check out my color grading tutorial in DaVinci Resolve. And if you like it, consider subscribing.